Welcome to InteliDOX version 5, which is now certified as a 2014 edition complete ambulatory electronic health record. This video, which is the third in a series of 4, will help you get familiar with the new features in InteliDOX version 5. In our first video, we demonstrated the changes and additions that have been made to the patient summary screen. To watch that video, click here. The second video showed changes to the patient portal, new options for communicating securely with other healthcare professionals and with patients, and importing allergy, medication, and problem lists from CCDA files. To watch that video, click here. This video will cover updates to the Med screen, the new Encounters or Electronic Notes feature, and changes to creating clinical summaries for patients who've just been seen in the office. In InteliDOX version 5, the Med screen has been updated a bit, with some buttons moved and/or renamed. The Renew Selected button has moved to the left and is now labeled Renew. The Add External Med button, which has moved to the right, and previously required you to choose between adding external medications manually or searching the patient's pharmacy benefits medication history, now combines those two features. When you click Add External Med, any available PBM history is automatically displayed. As in InteliDOX version 4.1, you can click the Auto link to import whatever information is available about one of these prescriptions, or click the Manual link to start a new external medication record but let you add your own details to it, or you can just enter an external medication yourself. The names of the Check for Interactions and Mark All Active Drugs as Verified buttons have been changed slightly, but they work the same way they did previously, as does the new RX button. This Immunizations button is new, and as you might expect, it helps you enter details for vaccines that are administered in your office, that are administered by providers not with your practice, or that are refused by the patient or a parent. When you click Immunizations, InteliDOX displays a list of any medications on the patient's list that can be identified as vaccines, and lets you add more information than can be recorded with the new RX button. For example, if the patient received a flu shot here in the office, we'd record that using the new RX button. Then here on the list of immunizations, we'd click the Enter Extra Information link to the right of the flu vaccine to enter details like the vaccine's lot number, expiration date, and manufacturer, the administration site, and details about the vaccine information statement given to the patient or their parent. After entering those details, click Save. Then click the X at the bottom of the window to close it. If the patient received a vaccine from a provider not affiliated with your practice, you can add that as an external med, then use the Immunizations button to record any other information you have, which may be little or none. If you have no additional details on this vaccine, just click Save and close the window. After you click the Enter Extra Information link for a vaccine and save any details you have, you'll see a checkbox to the right of that immunization. If your practice sends immunization information to a registry, you can create a file to send to the registry for this patient by clicking the Select Items box for any or all of these items, then clicking the Send Selected Items button down here at the left. InteliDOX will create a message that's ready to transmit to the immunization registry. If your practice has what's called an HL7 interface that's configured to look for these immunization messages, the file will be sent to the registry automatically within a few minutes. A brand new InteliDOX feature, which will help you satisfy the electronic notes measure of meaningful use stage 2, is called Encounters. In an upcoming video, we'll give a detailed demonstration of how to use Encounters, but for now, we'll show just the basics. To start a new encounter, or see what encounters have been started but not completed for the current patient, click the EC button. InteliDOX users at your practice may have created dozens of different encounter templates, and you can save the ones you use most often to your My Templates list. To record a new encounter using one of these templates, click the template you want to use, then click Create Encounter. Or you can open an existing incomplete encounter for editing by clicking it, then the Open Encounter button. Depending on the template you chose, some information may already be filled in for you, and you may be able to select items from lists and/or type in any text you want. When the encounter is complete, click the Sign and Complete button, enter your InteliDOX password, and click Complete. The encounter will appear in the patient's chart in a few seconds, where it can be viewed, printed, searched, or edited and resaved. One of the requirements of meaningful use in both Stage 1 and Stage 2 is to give patients copies of their clinical summaries as soon as possible after each visit. In InteliDOX version 4.1, you did that by clicking the Export button at the bottom of the patient summary screen. But in InteliDOX version 5, clinical summaries are tied to appointments. At the end of the patient's visit, click the Appointments button to view their appointment. If you haven't yet generated a clinical summary for the visit, the letters CS will be shown in the To-Do column. Click on the appointment, then click the Clinical Summary button at the bottom of the screen. This Visit Information screen lets you enter and select information about the visit that just occurred. The Reason for Visit field will show any comments that were entered for the appointment, and you can either leave that as it is or make some changes to it. In the Visit Code field, type the CPT code that best describes this appointment. Use the Encounter Diagnoses fields to indicate one or more diagnoses that are relevant to this visit. And if you need to add a new diagnosis to the patient's problem list, you can click the Add Edit Patient's Problem List link to view and edit just the problem section of the patient summary screen. Use the Patient Instructions field to briefly document any instructions you gave the patient, and make sure that the Patient Disposition field is correctly set. It defaults to Discharge to Home or Self-Care, Routine Discharge, so you probably won't need to change that. When you click the Save button at the bottom right corner of the screen, the patient summary will be displayed. If you need to make any changes to the visit information that you just entered, click the Edit Visit Information button, make your changes, and save the changes. You can scroll up and down in the clinical summary as you would a web page, or you can use the links in the Jump To list at the top left corner to go straight to a specific section. If the summary includes any information that you're not ready to share with the patient, such as a lab test whose result needs to be confirmed or explained in person, click the Customize button at the bottom left corner of the summary. Uncheck the box for any sections that you want to remove from the summary, then click OK. That information will no longer be displayed on the summary. To share the clinical summary with the patient, click the Print Export button at the bottom right corner of the screen. To print the summary to your default InteliDOX printer, click the Print button. To export the summary to a file that can be stored on a CD, thumb drive, or other portable media, select either the HTML option to save the file as a web page, or the CCDA option to save the information in an XML file that can be imported into some electronic health record programs. If you have any questions about the new med screen, encounters, or clinical summaries, please email us at support@busynet.com or call us at area code 918-858-4440, voicemail option number 2. To view the final video in this series, which discusses changes to the Security Audit Report, the Clinical Search and Reminders Report, and the Meaningful Use Reports, and the new Clinical Decision Support feature, click here.